Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be getting into some Christmas DIYs that I've been working on for so long. And it's finally Christmas time and I can finally share them with you and I'm so excited. In this video, we're gonna be doing 4 different DIYs as a part of a 3-part series giving you 12 days of DIYs. All of these videos are either inspired by a YouTuber who does DIYs or inspired by Pinterest or things that I've created on my own as a part of my decor collection that I just didn't feel like spending money for or I couldn't find what I was looking for in stores. Also, all 12 of these DIYs are so affordable. Many, if not all, of the items or the materials that I used to make these, you can find right at Dollar Tree. So let's go ahead and get going on these DIYs.
So these are the materials that we are going to need for this garland DIY. I was inspired by Glue Guns and Roses and her fall decor. She did this with the little wooden pumpkin die cuts for her fall decor. So I decided to use Christmas trees instead. So you can also substitute these little eyeballs for ping pong balls. Just at the time that I purchased all of the things that I was going to need for this, the eyeballs were still in store. Unfortunately, I don't believe they are currently because it's now like Christmas time, but you can certainly use ping pong balls for this as well. So all I'm doing here is I am taking a long needle and I am heating up the tip of it to be able to poke into the other side of the eyeball. There is a tiny hole on one side, so just directly across from that, I'm creating a second hole to be able to string it on my floral wire. You could also use a precision tip glue gun for this. I believe that's what Glue Guns and Roses used, but I just kind of improvised with whatever I had. So after you get all the holes poked in your eyeballs or in your ping pong balls, you're going to want to take these little square wooden beads that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be hot gluing them on the back in this clip. However, I would strongly suggest using wood glue because the hot glue did pop off pretty easily. As you can tell, my hot glue gun is pretty old, so that could have something to do with it, but I did count out 2 initially for each Christmas tree, but I did end up putting 3 just so that they wouldn't spin on the wire. So having 3 on there and staggering them, and you'll see that there in a minute, definitely helps keep the wire straight on the tree so that they stand, or so that they face front at all times.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night.
Now that all the wood beads are on the Christmas trees, I'm going to go ahead and start stringing on eyeballs and Christmas trees onto our floral wire. I did 6 eyeballs, then a Christmas tree, then 6 more eyeballs, then another Christmas tree, and so on and so forth.
Everything will be okay, 'cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
Once I got all of the eyeballs and the Christmas tree strung onto the floral wire, I did take this outside and I spray painted it with some Rust-Oleum spray paint in Blossom White. I did give it quite a few coats just because the colorful circles on the eyeballs and like the little bloodshot spots came through. However, if you do this with ping pong balls, you definitely won't have to worry about that. And like I said, definitely using wood glue does hold those beads onto the Christmas trees a lot better.
Everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
In this DIY, we're going to be making an ornament wreath out of quite a number of boxes of small ornaments and large ornaments. They also do have medium-sized ornaments. Just the day that I went to the store to grab these, they did not have any in the colors that I was looking for, so I just kind of settled on these two. I think I probably used about 6 boxes of the small ones, and then probably 4 or 5 tubes of the larger balls. I wanted it to be majority red with just a few little sparse pops of gold in there. And literally all I'm doing here is just getting everything out of the container so that I can glue everything onto this wreath ring mold thing that I got at Dollar Tree. And they do have them in silver and green at the time that I had gone.
Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how
So here I'm starting with the smaller ornaments on the inner ring of the wreath and just hot gluing them to the first 2 rungs there. And I'm going to do this all the way around, alternating red and gold.
and just enjoy this moment of peace and love and happiness. We come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say
From there, I added the larger ornaments and just kept filling those in along the smaller ornaments and along the outside, and filled in the small holes with small ornaments, and then later on I used a few jingle bells as well. I didn't show it here, but on the back I did use some gold ribbon to kind of cover up the metal pieces that you could see through the door. So I've seen several of these super cute risers in several of my favorite YouTubers' homes, and I figured that I might just make my own. So I found this wooden piece. It's very rustic looking, very raw at Hobby Lobby. And then I also found these little wooden balls with a flat top on them at Hobby Lobby as well, in a pack of 9. So I have plans for the other 5 of them. Well, I'm going to be using 4, but anyway, so I took this wooden piece, I don't know what you want to call it, this flat wooden piece over here, set it off to the side after I had unwrapped it, and then I'm going to whitewash paint these little wooden feet white. Okay, so what I'm about to do here, I do not recommend on either side of this. So I was trying to be cheap and I was trying to do a DIY stain type of deal, and it did not turn out cute as I hoped it would. So here I just took some burnt umber acrylic paint, diluted it with some water to try and make a water wash dark stain color, and when it dried, it was not the cute look I was going for. So then I flipped it over and tried something else. So here you see me taking the antique wax and diluting that with water, or dry brushing it here, I guess. And again, not the look that I'm really going for. What I should have done, and what I've heard Glue Guns and Roses say several times, is she stains her natural woods with coffee. And that's probably what I should have done, because as you see here, I'm trying to feather it out, make it a little less dark and patchy looking. So either use a real stain or maybe even try tea or coffee to try and give it a nice stained look. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might sand the top down here because this one I don't think went as deep into the wood grain as the other side did, because that one was more with water. Or I might just leave it. As of right now, I just left it and I used this as the top instead of the other side, because as you'll see in a moment, when I glue the feet on, the other side is a little discolored, I guess you could say. So food for thought, lesson learned. I would definitely use a real stain or stain it naturally with tea or coffee or something of that nature. Alrighty, so in this DIY, we are going to be making a rattan snowman inspired by Liz Fenwick DIYs. Today we will be just taking a larger and a smaller of the rattan wreaths that you find at Dollar Tree, and Liz Fenwick took popsicle sticks to hold hers together. I thought that it might hold better if we used some floral wire, especially considering that these are rattan and you can fit the little wires through them. I know that you can't really see what I'm doing here. Oh wait, there we go. Sorry about that. So I'm just feeding this floral wire in between the grooves there and fastening it together. And I'm going to do this at several points so that it has a good point of contact with the other wreath. So this DIY is incredibly simple. It's 2 wreaths, a scarf, and a hat. And that's it. So I took this Dollar Tree scarf. I did fold it in half. I didn't really feel like cutting it just because I wanted to make this to where if I wanted to, I could pull it apart and use the pieces on another project. So I took the scarf and I wrapped it around his neck. Just kind of did like a little slip knot around there. And to kind of tuck it up a little bit because those ends did seem pretty long, I did just kind of feed it back up again so that it fit his neck a little bit better. And with the hat, I took a snowman ornament topper and then I just kind of plucked the ornament hanging part out, and then I hot glued this right to the top of the snowman's head. I did have to kind of set him up a certain way so that the hot glue would dry properly with the hat on so that it wouldn't just pop right off just because I was kind of laying him down and drying him. So after the hat was dried on there, I did hang a little jute tie to the top of his head so that we could hang him from the wall. So I did find that the hot glue was not going to provide a very sturdy hold to the top of the rattan. And as you saw me there beating the top of the hanger of the ornament into the bottom of the ornament with a pair of scissors. Very resourceful, I know, right? So once I got that little hook, like it was kind of like an eye hook in there, I attached that with some floral wire and kind of twist tied that down along with the hot glue. So it kind of gave it 2 reinforcing points of contact so that it would stay on the rattan hanger. Alrighty, so that is going to wrap up part 1 of our 3-part series. In the day after tomorrow, you will see the next part, which is going to be 4 more DIYs for our 12 DIYs of Christmas. Join me back here in just a couple of days, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.